The 9 o'clock hour was a World Tag Team title match between the Hurt Syndicate and Bishop Khan and Tia Leone, the Gates of Agony. Weren't these guys in the group? Remember what? Now, did Jake Roberts sell Archer and or Cage to Don Fallis, and in return, Jake got, because he had these guys, didn't he? And didn't he get some Mexican guys?
Jake didn't have these guys. These guys were mixed up with the with Prince Nana and the embassy, weren't they?
Son of a bitch, you're right. Well, now they're managerless and rudderless. I thought they came in with the trade with the Mexicans to Jake.
No, that was Lance Archer in exchange for Hechicero and Beast Mordos and Gravity.
How's Jake doing with them Mexicans?
I haven't seen Jake again. I never saw Jake ever again.
Never saw Jake again, did we? Well, he got the better end of the deal then.
Well, since 93, they've been trying to get him back into Mexico for various reasons. They're still upset with him for turning on Conan.
So the Gates of Agony, who have no manager, had a World Tag Team title match against the Hurt Syndicate because Hurt Syndicate has no teams to work with. And they have to give jobber teams who not only never win, we never even see these guys anymore. But they got to give them tag team title matches because of the sorry state of affairs that their talent roster exists in. So the heels jump-started this, and they isolated Shelton for a little while and got some heat on him. The smaller one looks better, but these guys are green and sloppy. And Aubrey Ed, by the way, is completely useless as a referee. She has a great fucking pose, and she always hits the right number when you ask her what's 2 + 2, and she stomps her foot 4 times. But good God. Hurt Syndicate took over after the first couple minutes, and they beat up the little one and went to a break on this match that didn't last that long and didn't probably need to last as long as it did. When they came back, Shelton and the little one, I don't know which is which, were down, and the little one tagged the big one, and the big one came in and tripped over the middle rope, stepping through, and fell down. And then popped up and tried to make a comeback on Shelton and hit part of it. And they got a 4-way. Everybody was lost because you can't. I could see members of the Hurt Syndicate trying to send by mental telepathy information to these fucking guys, but they weren't picking up on it. They didn't have their antennas up. And finally, Shelton Germaned the little one, Bobby speared the big one, and then speared the little one, and 1, 2, 3. And these guys, the Gates of Agony, they're so big compared to the rest of the roster especially, and they look like they could be something. And I think they wanted to try to have a match with these guys, but it just, they ain't there yet. The Gates, that is. And again, now it's the Hurt Syndicate trying to make the best of a bad situation and make this off-brand team competitive, because who else they got to fucking, you can't put, I'm sure you'll never see the Buckaroos in the ring with Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley.
I'd pay to see it.
I would pay to see it too, but that's why I'm sure you never will. I mean, it would be visually ridiculous on the surface of it and a complete style clash, and there's no way that any of the Hurts could sell for any of them without destroying their image.
I'd pay for both Bucks against MVP. I'd pay to see that too.
I still think visually it'd be ridiculous until a few more Cucamongan showed up.
Cucamongans.
That's the natives of Cucamonga, or the Cucamongans. And they're among us, the Cucamongans. But there's nobody. It's sad.
And the other thing is, clearly they have the demeanor of heels, but the fans are totally reacting to them like they're the baby faces. But maybe that's part of it, because they have the demeanor of heels and they're stars.
They have the demeanor of stars.
Yeah, and they're stars.
They have the demeanor of grown adults that kick people's asses and do impressive things and carry themselves like they're somebody instead of these grungy, fucking no account, as Mama Cornette would say, no account nitwits that come out in their goddamn floppy clothes and fucking ass off playing wrestler. But nevertheless, the Hurt Syndicate were still in the ring when here came MJF and they were chanting MJF here in Boston. And they cheered the Hurt Syndicate. They chanted MJF because MJF, again, running on past glory as far as being a heel. But MJF was better here because he's poking Bobby Lashley verbally. But he's trying to impress the Hurt Syndicate as a group. But he can't resist because he's a little weasel. He can't resist giving Bobby the jabs, right? But he's still trying to impress them, so they'll get the 3 thumbs up. And he brings out 7 rent-a-hoors in various kinds of black dresses and presented them to the Hurt business for a night out on the town in exchange for 3 thumbs up. First of all, Brian, why did they weren't wearing the same kind of dress, but they were all color coordinated? Do you think when he called the escort service, he said all of the dresses have to match in their own way? And secondly, is this the state of professional models in Boston, Massachusetts, that there was a whooping crane in there. There was a little bitty one. They were all over the page. But I like the concept, but it's always the same thing, whether it was the Flair and Steamboat deal that they did in Cleveland on the Clash of Champions in '89, or one of the entrances on pay-per-view. Whenever they get just models, girls that are told to show up and dress in a slutty demeanor, they look like you can tell they're clueless about what's going on. They would never be at a wrestling match. They don't have any idea what's happening here. And they're in their own way, because there's so many of them. Invariably, there's a few ugly ones that kind of brings the whole thing down. Was that a question I asked you?
It doesn't bother me. I think if MJF showed up with models that look ridiculously good, like they wouldn't be anywhere near a wrestling show, even if they wouldn't even be modeling for anything MJF would get his hands on, it makes it unreasonable. These look like girls from Wiggles. This looks like MJF went down there and said, let me get the finest strippers you got. I need to impress the Hurt Syndicate.
But what kind of strippers they got up in Boston then? Those weren't
with
the lights on.
How many strippers have you seen with the lights on? It changes everything. There are a lot of lights.
I've inspected a couple of strippers up close.
With the lights on?
Well, in all varieties, including with flashlights. And I'll tell you what.
Don't tell me.
But here's the thing. It used to piss me off, because when I would see these angles, and especially when they did the one with Flair with the women's, they were skinny and looked like models. They weren't as pretty as the girls we had coming to the matches. They looked fake, and they were fucking fashion model types instead of fucking real wrestling arena rats. And we had better girls. Flair had better women that he was going out with afterwards for free than the ones that they purchased for him on television. So the point is, I'm saying these looked a little phony to me. Like they had no idea what the fuck they were doing there.
But you don't. But it doesn't. You don't want them to act like they know what they're doing there. You want them to be clueless hookers that MJF got for the Hurt Syndicate.
Well, but they weren't really all over the boys. I mean, there should have been some goddamn fondling and maybe grab ass. What? Snatch grabbing and things of that nature.
Well, there was one that was very hands-on.
Grab of the ass.
The one that came in with the gunt. She was kind of very hands-on, it looked like.
Well, anyway. But so Shelton is liking it, and he was mesmerized. But as MJF is doing his pitch, I need more time. And he's pointing to his wrist. And MJF, oh, you want my watch? Well, I'll give you this watch for a thumbs up. And Shelton puts the thumb out. It's starting to go up. But then he sees Bobby Lashley looking at him, and it goes back down. And that's when MJF said, "You must be out of your democracy. I love it." And he changes his tune because Lashley is up in his face. And I wrote, "This is good shit, pal." Because MJF wants to bow up and cuss Bobby Lashley out, but he would kill him. And MJF knows that, so he's trying to stay cool, and he's the weasel in the thing. He's trying to get this done. And MJF gives Shelton the watch anyway. And you can have the ladies too. And he said, when I do join the Hurt Syndicate, there's going to be plenty more watches and women. And then he told Bob, You're the almighty, but just remember, MJF is better than you, and you know it. And Bobby's pissed, and MJF leaves, and Shelton is over there talking to the women. I like this thing. I'm just getting a kick out of it. It's not these children doing their floor exercise gymnastics routine over and over, or the stupid shit with Moxley. It's guys that can talk. People are interested. They look professional. See where it's going. It's some kind of story rather than a dream match.
You don't know where it's going. That's one of the things that helps. It's not obvious.
Because it's hard to change Bobby Lashley's mind once he's set on something.
I think everyone's been great in this. I think Bobby Lashley, it's actually bringing out some of the best stuff he does. Not in terms of the wrestling. I'm just talking in terms of these angles.
Yeah.
MJF, he's not flipping out for no reason. He's not talking about his emotions. I think the fans are starting to react to him again, the way they were. I think he has done a great job at various different times of getting past bad booking that was long-term, like the Jericho feud. The Adam Cole thing's not going to be as easy. Well, it's not as easy. He's working on that now still, and I think he's kind of done it. MVP's been great, but to me, the highlight of this whole thing, Shelton is like the most underrated character on wrestling TV. Just his facial expressions, the way he reacts to things. I've been saying it for a while. AEW has used Shelton Benjamin better than WWE.
And I can't disagree with that. And I think part of it is that Shelton's not standing there by himself. He's got two other grown adult professionals with him. So it's not like he's floating around by himself with everybody else going, hey, let's do this and do that. He's got a group there that they can all pitch in experienced, logical, sane, rational shit instead of, just, hey, let's do something and have a big spot. So can you think of anybody that has come to AEW that was more over 3 months later than they were their first night in, except for Lashley and Benjamin and MVP?
I'd have to think about it. I can't off the top of my head think of it.
Well, that tells you something right there. But the thing, Brian, though, the one mistake MJF is making here, you realize that, don't you? The mistake he's making?
I don't know.
He gave them women. Look at Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. They can get their own women. And he gave them a Rolex watch. Well, they can get their own Rolex watches. They've been big boys for a while. They've made big money. He needs to give them some kind of gift that they can't just get anywhere else at any old run-of-the-mill bodega somewhere in a subway. He's got to give them something that's truly prized, that's truly valuable, that truly means something, that would put them forever in his debt. I think, Brian, to be honest with you, I'm going to call it right now. I think he needs to haul out the Raycon everyday wireless earbuds. I think he needs to play the Raycon card.
Well, if you're going to give him women in time, you got to give him song. And what better way to listen to song than on Raycon?
Well, nevertheless, folks, with the Raycon everyday earbuds in the ears of the Hurt Syndicate, that way they'd be able to listen to their favorite music when they go to the gym and work out and pump those big muscles. Or when they're out on the town enjoying the nightlife, they wouldn't have to listen to all those models that they've got nattering in their ear. They can just look at them while they're listening to more exciting music. Or They can just punch that active noise cancellation button, and they don't have to listen to any of the AEW locker room gossip and drama. They can tune the children out. And once again, listen to what they want to listen to. And folks, Raycon's everyday earbuds not only start at just half the price of the other premium audio brands, they have the quick charge function, the 32-hour battery life, the multi-point connectivity, and they come in a spectrum of vibrant colors. So Mother's Day is coming up, and you want to get your mom something, get her something in a pretty color. Get her a pink or a bird's egg blue, or maybe even some type of vibrant fuchsia. But whatever your mother's favorite color is, and if they don't have your mom's favorite color, tell your mom.
They may not have some of those colors, but they have standard colors you will love.
Well, who's to say what's standard? I mean, some people have different tastes and way of looking at the world. Say somebody wants burnt magenta. I think that Raycon should honor at least their request to try to create a burnt magenta. But folks, if you want an earbud of a different color, and if your mom doesn't have a favorite color, then give her one. As a matter of fact, get her one black one and one blue one, and then you can say, I made my mom black and blue for Mother's Day. See what you get?
Why would anyone want to say that? Why would anyone want to say that?
It'll get attention. It's just like
Maybe
when Sputnik Monroe.
No.
Sputnik Monroe said one time, I know a place in Mexico that you can get a pair of boots with a big dick and balls engraved on the side. And somebody asked Sputnik, said, well, why, Sputnik, would you want a pair of boots with a big dick and balls engraved on the side? And he said, because you walk into a bar wearing them son of a bitches, you can get in a fight in 5 minutes. So, folks, right now, if you want to walk into a bar wearing the Raycon everyday wireless earbuds, go to buyraycon.com. That's BUYRAYCON, buyraycon.com/JCE, and you're going to get 20% off site-wide, whatever you buy, from one side of the site to the other, and it's a wide site. You're going to get 20% off. Get several pair. Get one for your mom. Get one for her mom. Get one for, potentially if you have, well, baby mamas spread out all over the place. You might want to get one for every set of women that you have procreated with. But whatever. A lot of people are having babies around Mother's Day. So get them earbuds. buyraycon.com/JCE, Brian.
Well, obviously, Jim, there's no time to listen to music now. We have to get back to Dynamite, and we actually do because it's kind of a pickup of the last segment with the Hurt Syndicate and MJF.
Well, yes, because then they came back to the backstage area after some more foolishness had transpired, and MVP was talking to the Hurts. Obviously, they had the girls there. Shelton was still distracted. I believe they kicked the young female interviewer, Alicia, a toot. They kicked a toot out. And MVP was
telling got the boot.
A toot got the boot. Don't get your nose in a snoot over it. And MVP tells the Hurt Syndicate, look, we can use MJF. This is business. We can use him to get what we want. And if he gets out of line, then... So already he's trying to work from within to get Bobby to kind of lighten up a little bit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all will end well between MJF and the rest of the Hurt Syndicate. So we got a cliffhanger there is what we got. Anyhow,